Well, I think we're live. Good afternoon, everyone. Just checking we're all okay. Now, let me see. Just tell me, too, if the audio is delayed today, because the other day it was delayed, and I'm not sure why. So just let me know if the audio is okay coming through. I'm just going to put something in the chat just to say, is the audio okay? Funny thing was, though, the audio looked delayed when we were on the live chat with Aaron, but then when I went, it looked like it was out, but then when I came back and checked it later on, it was okay. It made me slightly intoxicated. What does that mean, Langston? I love it. So who have we got here? Look, today's, guys, it's just a chat, because tomorrow, I can't do my usual live show tomorrow due to the fact I've got to shoot. I'm actually photographing a dancer at the waterfall that I recently showed. So we're going out there for the day. I'm going out with another shooter, Ben, and we're going to film this dancer. But I'll try and do the Sony Alpha Rumors and News show on Saturday morning, which is Friday your time in the US and the UK. So it won't be tomorrow, it'll be the next day. So I'm just sort of apologising, but I thought it might be a good chance to get on and have a chat with others that can't normally get on when I usually do. So I thought we could have a chat today for the European folks, obviously, and even some Aussies that can't get in on the usual time. So I thought we'd have a chat all together. I've got my little cuppa here. So I'm taking a whole setup tomorrow. I'm actually going to be doing and I'll open up the chat shortly and we'll have a look at what's going on. So I'm going to film with the A9 tomorrow. I'm pretty sure that's the case. The only reason why I'll change my mind is if it's very contrasty, like really contrasty. And I might then shoot with HLG. But I don't think I'm going to have to due to the fact that it's usually very cloudy because it's a rainforest. Obviously, with the waterfalls and all the big ferns and things like that, it should be as it usually is, which is really overcast and stuff like that. So I might just film tomorrow with the A9, and I'm going to take some shots. I'm going to use the Nikon again tomorrow because I'm still reviewing that 35mm f1.4. But also check this out. I'm going to review this as well. What do you guys think about this? Would you like this for Sony? It's a Tamron lens. Let me see if I'll get off face detect. It's a Tamron lens. Now it's a 35 to 105 millimeter. Now it's a 2.8 lens. I think it's variable though. I think it's 2.8 and it goes to, oh yeah, it says there. It's f2.8 to f4. Seems like a really nice lens. It does have stabilization. VC on the lens. You've also got an AFM or automatic focus, manual focus switch on the lens as well. Really nicely made again. And I think it's a 77mm filter thread. But, oh wow, Rick Rat, thank you so much. Late night US person here. Did you see Chelsea Northrop switching to Sony from a D850? No, I haven't watched that yet, Rick Rat. I must watch that to see what she actually says. I'm hoping some of these lenses come to Sony though. What do you guys think about that? Do you think that would be something you guys in Sony would be interested in? It's an unusual focal length, isn't it? 35 to 150, 2.8 to f4. So I might try that tomorrow, but I've got to take these back on Tuesday. So I might try and shoot with this over the weekend and do a portrait shoot with it. With the D810, the Nikon, and just see how it goes. I'd also like to just try putting it on my Sony cameras just to see how it goes. I have got a Nikon adapter, so I can see how it goes on that. It'll have to be manually focused, of course, but it'll be interesting to see. I have been shooting with the 35. It seems like a really nice lens. It's in the house, so I haven't got it here. It's meant to be Tamron's sharpest lens, so that's going to be interesting too to see how that performs tomorrow at the waterfall. So I'm looking forward to that. So that's the reason why I won't be on live tomorrow, but I will come on live Saturday morning, my time, so that'll sort of explain it. So this is just basically a chat, guys. We'll have a bit of a Q&A, so you can fire away with any questions that you have at all. And we'll just basically go there and sort of see how long this goes. So let me bring up the chat. Oh, now I did just post a video that was showing this light. It's really quite funny because I've got so much of these now. This is a Iwata one. I've just posted a review of it, so check it out. But you know, and then I've got the this bowling one, which is my other one that I've got. But the funny thing was, a company contacted me to review. It's actually a nice LED light. It's a big one of the foldable ones. It's a really good LED light that I might be able to use in the studio and on location. It works from the V batteries and stuff. So it's quite a big setup. But the funny thing was they sent me another version of these. So I'll review that as well. But what I'm probably going to do is when I do reach 30,000 subscribers, I'm going to keep all this stuff up and then I'm going to have massive giveaways when we reach 30,000 subscribers. So stay tuned because I will give something back to you guys. So I'm really looking forward to that. So if you haven't checked the light review out, check it out anyway, but it's just been posted. So let's see who's here. So Joe was saying, I mentioned to Joe that I was getting a coffee this morning, and I said, no, it's not. It's a warm coffee. We're not anywhere near summer yet, but you know, another couple of weeks away, it should start warming up again. So it won't be long, and I'll be back drinking the normal beer with you, or coffee with you guys. So Joe was asking if it was full-bodied coffee. Stuart saying good afternoon. G'day, Stuart. Oreo, good Ivo. Is it correct? Yes, it is 4:15 p.m. here, Oreo. Aaron said, being the millennial I am, David Oasley, you can dab in your pre-show for me. You can what? You can dab in your pre-show for me. Okay. Peter, g'day, Peter. Boy, is your channel growing, Peter. It's going nuts. I'm going to have to be asking you to ask people to subscribe to me shortly. It'll be payback time. I'll be saying, Peter, how about giving me a shout out? I love it. Langston's here as well. Recrat, thank you so much for that donation. Peter saying, yeah, the audio is good. I've been watching a few of your videos on cinematic footage, Peter. It's been really good. I've really enjoyed them. Langston says, I may be slightly intoxicated. You haven't been having a drink, Langston, have you? G'day, Brett. How are you? Joe said the audio's okay. That's fine. I think the other day when we were with Aaron, it ended up being Aaron's problem on his side. I think he had 2 dialogue boxes clicked, so there was 2 audios coming through. So hopefully we'll have that fixed before next week. Mohammed said, hello, happy face. Hello, Mohammed. James said, so you got a real coffee this time. Yeah, it's not the other coffee. I wish it was. It's just not warm enough yet. Steve is saying, greetings all. Jeff's saying, g'day from Vegas. Are you going to meet us up when we come to Vegas, Jeff? In February, we're going to have a big meet up there. Can't wait to meet everyone. I did talk to Gerald about it this morning. He's going to organise some shoots in LA and do things like that. We're also going to do some day trips as well. Like I think we're going to go to Tijuana, is it, in Mexico and places. You're all welcome to come if you want to tag along. Once we've got the full sort of thing organised and where we're going to go, we'll put that out for everyone and then we can meet up and you can all tag along with us if you like. It'll be great fun. And we are at, obviously, Vegas for WPPI. Steve is saying, good morning from UK, notifications working. Yeah, and I didn't give much of a notification either, so it's amazing that it came through. Peter said, Europe chat, whoop, whoop. Yep, I do these occasionally. I do like to pop on with you guys occasionally at a different time. James says, looking good. Thanks, James. Langston says, oh, that sounds like a cool shoot. Yeah, so it's going to be really interesting. So it's a beautiful waterfall. She's an excellent dancer, this girl that we're doing tomorrow. So I'll be photographing her and also doing a video of her as well. I'll probably do a full-on video and then I'll also take some still images as well. But we're going to go to the waterfall and in the rainforest, do that sort of thing first. And then we're going to drive down to the coast and do a beach shoot as well as part of the shoot at the same time as well. So I'm really looking forward to it. Should be good. I'm going to take my Moser Air 2 tomorrow, so I've got it all set up. I'll show you my setup. So it is all ready to go on it, so I've got it all ready. Obviously got the handle set too, so because I am going to use this handle to give me a bit of balance sort of coming in and out. So, this will help me. Because this is quite a heavy gimbal, I can actually now use this handle to sort of walk like this. And also, if I'm going to shoot down low, like I might do some bits with just walking and stuff like that, I can use the handle to keep that down low as well. So I'll be using this tomorrow. It's still the best gimbal that I've got, even though I still like the AK2000, but this one is sort of a league above, particularly if you're using the bigger cameras. I'm just going to turn this off. I'm going to use the GM 24mm, so I think that's what I'm going to use tomorrow. And can't wait, actually. I might even swap between this and I might, if I want to do some close-ups, I think that I'll take my 55. So I may take two gimbals tomorrow. I might have the AK2000. It sounds like a rifle, doesn't it? I might have the Fiotech AK2000 and put the A7 III on with the 55 so I can get a different perspective for close-up shots and things like that, for more of a portrait shots. So I'll probably use a 24 for more environmental, getting the dancer sort of all over with a bit of the environment there, like the waterfall behind and stuff like that. And then I'll go in reasonably tight and use the 55, I think, to do that. So I'll just put this down. So that's my plan for tomorrow anyway with the shoot. I'll obviously have to use NDs because I'll probably shoot in 4K because I think I want to really capture the detail. So I don't think I'm going to slow it down. If I do some slowed down footage, I'll shoot it in 1080p 60 and then just up-res it in Final Cut so I can do a little bit of slow motion. But I'd probably like to do as much as I can tomorrow in 4K just for the sharpness. And it's such a beautiful location. That I thought I'll do it that way. I always like using the A9 because it's so good at full frame video. The other cameras do work better if you work in Super 35 mode, whereas the A9, there's no penalty loss at all if you shoot in 4K, which is a great thing about that camera. So let's go back to the chat. So if you have any questions at all about how I'm going to do the filming tomorrow, what I'm going to do, I'm taking some music, so it'll be done to music. I've already sent the dancer the music that I'm going to use, and she's put together a dance routine for that music. So I'll probably just take my iPhone and a Bluetooth speaker and just play it over again, and we'll move to different locations and we'll just keep playing the music again, and then I'll obviously do the complete cut then in Final Cut. So it should be a great shoot, Langston. Yeah, it's such a stunning location. I can't wait. As long as it's not raining. I hope it's not raining. Ricrat said, late night person here. David, did you see Chelsea switching to Sony? No, I didn't. It doesn't surprise me, though. Look, I mean, I've got the Nikon's here. I mean, I have to be honest with you guys. This is Ben's. Ben's coming with me tomorrow. When I picked up the lens from Tamron, they gave me a D610 to shoot with, and I thought I'd really like to use at least a D810, something with a bit more resolution and a bit more of a modern camera. So I used this for the images that I took the other day of the snow. It's weird when you go back to these cameras because they're so big, like compared to what I'm used to with the A9 and the A7 III, like it just seems crazy. And I mentioned it when I was with Aaron the other day that it seemed a little bit like going back to dinosaurs, and I'm not putting it on people that are still using digital SLRs, but the technology that you've got inside of the latest cameras is just incredible, and you don't realize how good it is until you go back to just using a normal viewfinder, and not being able to check the exposure. You can't sort of look at it on the back of the screen immediately or in the EVF and get an immediate exposure. So you've got to just use the meter. I mean, I enjoyed it because it was something a little bit different again. And I do like often pushing myself a little bit and trying something different. But, you just don't realise how much the cameras have advanced with the mirrorless. And I'd love to try the Nikon Z6 and the Z7 because it would be sort of a more fair comparison, I suppose. But, you know, I mean, they're just massive. Like, it feels so big when I'm carrying it around. I gave it to Kerry and she went, whoa, it's really large. The lens itself, the 35, is stunning. I mean, it is a stunning lens. It's beautiful. Something like this too would do very well on Sony, I believe, as well. Plus, like I said in the chat later, let me know if you think you'd be interested in this sort of lens coming out for Sony, that 35 to 105. It's an unusual focal length, isn't it? But yeah, anyway, so I'll try both of those tomorrow. I'll have Ben to help me anyway because it's his camera. So let's go back to the chat. So yeah, it's Chelsea switching. I haven't watched that yet. So did she say why she was switching? Was she not happy with Nikon? Did you think that the Sonys were just that much better, Ricrat? Because I'm just curious to know, you know, what was her reasoning there? Or is it was it, do you believe, a paid thing that she's moved over due to financial things from Sony? I'd just love to know. I'd be curious. Oreo said, looking forward to your forest shoot of tomorrow. Yep, I'll get that out pretty quick because this is a paying customer. So I'll probably do it over the weekend. I'll get it out pretty quick. Brett said, you should have done more shooting in the mountains with the snow. I did take a fair few images, Brett. There were still images that I took, though, on the day. So, you know, I'm looking forward to having a look at those. I'll quickly show you if I can open it up. Let me have a look. See if this doesn't crash the program we're on. I'll just show you the type, because I just wanted a few images that I could show for the review. So, all right, so let me see. Hopefully this won't slow, won't slow the computer down too much. All right, so I'll just show you, because I just took some images. Let me open this one up, and then I'll move it down. So these were just some images that I took. So I just wanted to try. Like I said, these are I've only just had some very, very light editing, but these were all with the 35 Tamron. It's the SP35 1.4, so it's not available yet. It's going to be available, I believe. Well, I'm not sure, actually. I noticed it was still on pre-order in the US, so I don't even know what the cost is. But I just wanted to take some stuff. I wanted to look for chromatic aberrations, so I did some shots with the branches against the sky, you know, and then all I did really was just sort of shooting. So you can see this is the Australian bushland that we're looking at here. It's always evergreen. I think there was a fire that went through. That's probably why these trees have got no leaves on them. There would have been a fire, a bushfire in the summer. So I just wanted to see how the detail was in the camera itself. So it's going to take a while to load, I think. Let me see if it'll come up. So I just wanted to see how the detail is through this. You can sort of see in the snow through here. So I took a stack of shots like that. This is my granddaughter Lenny. This is my other granddaughter Paisha. That was Lenny just lying in the snow. And I've just taken, like I said, I've just done lots like this where I wanted to shoot at 1.4 to see how the rendering was and things like that. And then later on, I just took some more ones with the snow just in the background, with just some fencing and stuff like that. And like I said, I'll be adding to this when I do my review in the mountains as well. So it'll have a few of these images that I show and discuss, and then it'll also have some of the other images. You'll see down here where we go, and you'll see there's tree ferns in here, you know, underneath here. So it'll sort of give you an idea, like with sharpness when we're looking at this. I don't know if it'll come through on YouTube though, but the lens itself is very, very sharp, really sharp looking at it. Let me just bring that back down. There's another one there just showing the rendering, because I wanted to show the rendering in the background, so you can see that it's, you know, it's zoomed in on the snow here. We'll see what that looks like when it's blowed up. So these are quite large files, so thank God I haven't got the 60 megapixel because my computer struggles even with these. Although I'm recording live, so that's taking a little bit away as well. And then you can see some of the snow sitting on the tree ferns through these areas as well, if you look through here. So, it's just something that I could show, something a little bit different. And then I took some as we were going back down the mountain. You can see all the tree ferns through here. Coming up. These are huge. These are, I don't know, these will be probably 4 meters high. Very, very big tree ferns, massive tree ferns. And then I just wanted to take some of the road coming sort of in and out. So that sort of shows you what I took with the lens the other day. But like I said, the lens seems to be beautiful. But stay tuned for that. Now, unfortunately, there's no Lightroom. It's not available. I can't correct for it automatically in Lightroom or anything like that yet because it's not available. Because it's still not released yet. Let me just quit that. Yep. So let's get back to the chat. So I did do quite a few, Brett. Yeah, I did take quite... Oh, look at that. It's gone glitchy. Hopefully it'll come back. I knew... Yeah, it's coming back now, I think. Yeah. So hopefully... I'll get a whole stack that I can do tomorrow as well. So I wanted to have a sort of whole mix. Peter said, David, what's your take on the Blackmagic Pocket 6K? I think the AF in those cameras are far worse than the A7 III, but the quality is obviously better. I'm looking at the thing back there where it played up. Yeah, I think it's come back. Peter, yeah, look, I haven't really looked at it much yet at this stage. I did actually try the other version. I had a go at the 4K version, and I really quite liked it. I mean, it was good, but the problem was the autofocus was like using a GH5, so it wasn't very good at all. So they're not going to be for me in the fact that I don't like to manually focus. I'm not a full-on videographer, so I like, now that Sony have got such good video autofocus, it's hard to go past that. It really is. And so that's one of the problems with that system. So if you are a videographer and you're used to using manual focus like Aaron does, it's going to be a great system, and it really will be a great system. But it's certainly pushed Sony on the video side of things because that 6K is really interesting. They also have, I believe, 120p as well, 4K 120p, I believe. I think there's going to be a crop. But I know the quality of the previous version was outstanding. The screen was outstanding. But it is quite a bulky camera. There's no EVF, so that causes an issue as well because in Australia, it's very sunny most of the time. And I use the EVF extensively because it's so bright and sunny. So you'd have to try and get a screen protector and things like that. So not having an EVF is also a bit of a bummer. But I'd like to have a look at it if I can, but they certainly have pushed the boundaries. I mean, they've now gone to APS-C size in their sensor, so it'll have better low light, better noise performance, so better low light performance. They may have improved the autofocus, you don't know. But it'll be interesting to see. Either way, I think it's great for them, and I think it's great that they're pushing the envelope a little bit because it might make Sony do something. I mean, we're still hearing that there's going to be an announcement from Sony in about a week or 2 weeks. So hopefully that's the A7000. That's what I'm tipping, is that the next camera that's announced by Sony is going to be the A7000. So hopefully that will have 4K 60. What do you think of it, Peter? Just curious what you actually think about it. Oh, Peter, thank you. I missed that. Thank you so much. Sorry, I must have been talking when you did that donation. Thank you so much, Peter. Really appreciate that. What else have we got? So Oreo said, I'd like that zoom. Yeah, the zoom's interesting, isn't it? Are they the only ones that have done that zoom range? I can't think of anyone else that has. I might be wrong. Canon and Nikon may have done that, but it really is an interesting zoom focal range. Like, this would be a great travel lens. It probably is a bit heavy, perhaps, but having that 35 to 105 with your VC on this seems to be really nice, and it's wide open. It is 2.8, so that's fantastic, and it's only a maximum of f4 anyway. So if you zoomed into 105, you're going to get f4, which is not too bad because my 70-200 is f4, and I find that quite usable. So this certainly could be something that could be great eventually to bring out to Sony. Interesting concept. Cowboy said, does the BM's P6K bother you? No, it doesn't bother me at all. I think it's great. I actually think that I'm happier from the more competition that's out there, the better off it is for all of us. So that's why I always say I want Nikon to survive. That's why I want Canon to survive. And I think the Blackmagic doing what they've done is fantastic. I really do. Matthew said, your audio sounded very funny. I thought it was you talking into Kerry's saucepan. Oh, you're talking about yesterday, yeah. Carl said, some people only hear what they want to hear. Strange. Langston said, man, it's hard to find a photo location once you leave the greater LA area. Oh, really? So it's pretty hard, is it, Langston? Well, you're going to have to come up with something when I come up there, buddy. Remember, though, it's probably all new for me, so I'll be happy shooting anywhere. I am staying for a week, though, at Santa Monica, so perhaps we can... Gerald's, I think, going to organise with you some stuff around there too, Langston. So hopefully we can do stuff around Santa Monica, areas like that. Jonathan said, please do a side-by-side comparison of the 35mm lens for Sony FE E-mount for environmental portrait. I haven't got 35 anymore though, Jonathan. I sold it. I had the 35 1.4, but I sold it when I got the 24 because I just wasn't using it anymore. So I've sold it at this stage. I've just got a feeling that may be updated sooner or later. So I'm sort of trying to preempt it a little bit. I do love shooting at 35, but I haven't got a 35 prime at this stage. Mike said, haven't been around for a while. Did you cover the hacking of cameras? No, I did read somewhere that Canon cameras can be hacked. It must be due to the operating system. Are they using, I haven't read the story, but are they using Android as part of their operating system? I know a lot do that. That's what Sony used to do for their Play Memories software in the old A6300 and A6500. They used to use that before you updated and you could download the Play Memories hack. That was due to the fact that it was using that Android operating system in the background. So I suppose it's something that's exactly the same as that. That if you have got an operating system like that, you could be hacked, and I believe that's probably what could have happened. And due to the fact that you're dealing with Wi-Fi as well, you could potentially get hacked that way as well. It's interesting. It's funny to think that you need virus protection software on your camera. Aaron said, you miss my thingy, no? What's that? What's that, Aaron? You miss my thingy thing, no. What was that? I don't know what it was. I'm not sure what you said, Aaron. You can ask again if you want to. I'm not sure what you meant. What else have we got? Peter said, oh, David, I got something in store for you when it comes to shout-outs. Ooh. Oh, that sounds exciting. Devon Film says, hi, David. And if you haven't subscribed to Peter, make sure you do, guys. He's got a great channel. I love watching Peter's stuff. Devon said, hi, David. Langston says, coughs, no drinks today. No, not today. I think you've had a few, but boy, am I going to be having a few when I come to America with you guys, though. Thank you so much for that donation, Peter. Really appreciate it. Rui said, hello, everyone. Excellent. Good morning from Germany. Good morning to you. Langston said, TJ, hey, you better take Gerald. Hero said, greetings, dudes. That's going to be an awesome shoot. Yeah, I can't wait. It should be really good fun. So I'm really excited about doing. I'm leaving at 7 in the morning, and we should be there around about 9. Joe said, so what is the hardware software you do the shoot on? Well, I'm using, at the moment, what's that thing called? It's the Camlink. So I'm using the Camlink adapter for the HDMI to get in, and then I'm using Wirecast for this to to broadcast live. So that's how I'm switching and things like that. So I'm using Wirecast. The audio is coming in off a Yamaha AG06, so it's coming in off that. So that's how the audio is coming in, and I've got that connected up to a Sennheiser mic, which is just above me up there. So hardware I'm using a Mac Pro, I'm using the Camlink, and I'm using the A6400 with the Sigma 16mm lens. And the audio is a Sennheiser MK500, I think, or something. And then that's going into a Yamaha AG06. I should do a video on that, show everything how I do it, actually. So that's what I'm using, what hardware I'm using, Joe. I should update my Camlink because there is a 4K version now. I'm using the 1080p one. Devon says, are you going to shoot Chanel, my sis, again? Is that your sister, Chanel, Darren? Yes, I am. That's for sure. She's a beautiful girl. Rui said, what has happened to Kiara missing? Yeah, look, Kiara got a full-time job. I mean, what happened with Kiara was she was in year 12 and she had a day off each week. So it was fantastic that I could organise shoots midweek with Kiara. And that worked out perfectly for me. So she had every Thursday off. So we organised a shoot every single Thursday. But she now works full time. So she's just turned 18. So she only turned 18 in June. And now she wants to party. Look, I don't blame her. So she's out now. She really was really good. She didn't drink much, or very rarely did she ever drink before she made 18 and things like that. And the legal drinking age in Australia is 18. That's the time that you can drink. So I think it's a bit different in the US. It's 21, isn't it, in the US? Here it's 18. You can also, but you can only get your driver's license here at 18 as well. So she's now working full time. And now she's basically turned 18. And so she's enjoying herself. And she's going night clubbing on the weekends, doing everything a young person should be doing. So I don't get to shoot with her anymore. And I think because we shot so much for basically over 12 months, well, 2 years really, I actually photographed with her for 2 years. I think she just got over it in the end, and I suppose she just got bored with it. And that's something that can happen eventually. You can just say, well, she loved doing it whenever we got out there, but I think now she'd prefer to be doing other things. It doesn't mean that we won't shoot again together. We may. But I'm leaving it up to her to contact me for when she's ready. So, I'm sure we may do some more one day. But at this stage, like I said, she's working 5 days a week. And then on the weekend, she's going out and doing the usual things that an 18-year-old will do, is partying and things like that. So it's probably the last thing that she wants to do is get up in the morning and go and do a shoot. So I'm not saying we won't shoot again. But, yeah, I miss shooting with her as well. She's a beautiful girl. Jeff said, yeah, looking forward, need a trip to Antelope Canyon. Yeah, well, I am going to be shooting all through there. Gerald's going to be organising all that. We are going to be going out to the canyons and stuff like that and shooting hopefully some models and stuff like that. Mark said, Ben needs an update, laugh out loud. Yeah, I know, you're talking about Ben's camera. Aurea said, how do you shoot dance, David? Do you shoot fast bursts, or do you study the movements in a test dance and then shoot single stills at the precise moments? What I will do, I just noticed that jump too over there. It's probably because I opened up Lightroom. It's still glitching a bit. Usually what I'll do is I'll play the song first when I get there, and then the dancer will do a complete run through of what she's going to do. Now, because it's shooting a dance video, the dance will be done over and over again. It'll be done multiple times. So I sort of see it, like I said, we'll probably do it 20 times during the day in different locations. So I think what will probably happen is I'll do it a few times, and then I'll know exactly where the moments are going to be that I'd like to capture for the still part of it. With the video side of it, I just shoot the whole dance. So I'll just shoot the whole dance in each location, and then later on I can just cut to different locations all over the place. So each one will be the complete dance. But I think the song only goes for around about 4 minutes. So, it's not like you've got to record for too long. But I will do multiple locations and then cut them together. As I start to get used to what the dance is going to be, I'll just get her dancing and then I'll take the still images. So I hope that answers that question, Oreo. James said, enjoy your cool weather in the southern. Enjoy your cool weather. The southern US has been under dangerous heat advisory over 100 Fahrenheit, pushing 120. Yeah, we get the same here in summer, James, as well. I mean, I know we're going to get a really hot summer. We always do here, so I'm sort of used to the heat. To be completely honest with you, though, I prefer the heat than I do the cold. If it gets around 100 Fahrenheit for me, I love it. But 120 is, yeah, starting to get a little bit hot. But if it's around about 100, I love it. Joe said, is that lens any better than the Sony 35 1.4? I think it's sharper, Joe. From what I remember looking at, it's a pity I didn't still have it, but looking at the lens itself, as I'm looking at the images, yes, I think this is sharper than what the Sony... But remember, this is a brand new lens, and Tamron is saying that that's the best lens that they've ever produced. Just let me check that. I think it might be Kerry. I know it's Ben. Yep, just let me message Ben because he's talking about tomorrow. We leave at 7. Let me just come back. Now, oh yeah, so I prefer the heat rather than but we don't really get really cold winters. I mean, that snow that I showed you before, we were up in the mountains, so we don't get snow here in Bacchus Marsh where I live. You don't get snow in Melbourne, so you know it's not that bad. So I mean, like our average winter temperature at this time of year is 15 degrees Celsius, so it's probably about 60 Fahrenheit or something. So it's not really cold. Let me check. So let's keep going down. Ben's just talking. He's just saying, sweet lucky you checked. So I think the A7R, yeah, that's what we were talking about. Yeah, so I think the Sony, I like that lens, but it was never the sharpest lens. And I think Sony, everyone's admitted that when they've reviewed the lens and everything else. It was never as sharp as what other lenses sort of had been. I still loved it though because I love the focal length. But I would say almost certainly that this this Tamron 35, yes, is sharper than that. But remember, you can't adapt that. You can adapt it, but you're going to have to go manual focus or use that. I know Photomiac did a video the other day showing that adapter, but I'm not sure if that would work with Tamron lenses. Photomiac in the live chat may be able to tell us, but I'm not sure whether that works with just the Sony lenses or does it work with the Sigma and the Tamron Photomiac. I'm just curious to know. Brett said Lightroom's still slow. Well, it's only slow because I'm using all my processor on this program, Brett, so it would be a lot quicker if I didn't have this open. This is using nearly all of my resources, so... Photomiac said, I was shooting film the other day on my Mamiya, is it, Pro TL, and was like, man, this optical viewfinder is huge and glorious. Makes it a lot easier to see manual focus. Yeah, well, that's true. Stuart said, Brisbane has the real Australian land. David Ostland, not your hipster Melbourne. Outback, I love it. Langston says, laugh out loud. Langston said, did you just call David a city slicker? I know, I love it. City slicker. Oreo said, wow, loving those tree ferns. Yeah, I know the tree ferns are just beautiful. And like I said, they're massive, some of them. There'll be stacks where I go tomorrow in the rainforest. They'll be all over the place. It just does. It looks so beautiful. It's stunning. And I think the waterfall tomorrow should be really flowing because we've had a bit of rain this week. So it should be great. Really looking forward to it. Trevor says, this lens has some nice 3D. Yeah, I think it does too. I really like the look of it. Like I said, I'd love them to release those lenses for Sony. Tamron will probably do that eventually. Excuse me. But I think the next one Tamron's going to release for Sony is going to be the 70-200 or around that focal range. That's what I think we're going to get next. But I certainly would be interested to have a look at, if they could do that 35 and that 35-105 would be interesting. Trevor said it's really worth more than the Sigma though. Well, it's a pity I never had the Sigma lenses, because the 35, because I'd love to know how they compared, yeah. I don't even know the price of the Tamron. I haven't looked at that yet. I don't know what this Tamron lens costs, actually. Where were we? Whoops, I hate it. That jumps down sometimes. Where were we? Oh, hate that. Sorry, guys. I'm just trying to find where we were up to. Ah, there we go. Trev said the Pocket 6K is a cinema camera. There's no continuous AF. Yeah, so that's right. Focusing is your responsibility. So if you're into video, that's fine. I don't think that's a problem at all. Devon says, I will be getting a camera for stop motion. Any recommendations? Yeah, I talked to your mum about that, Devon. Probably, if you don't want to spend too much, the A6 400 would be really good for stop motion. Any of those cameras. But I'll talk to your mum because she mentioned that she wants to have you and your dad talking to me about that. Langston says, unless you've got people willing to hit marks, which takes forever, it's a nightmare without extra equipment. Yeah, you're talking about the manual focusing. Some are really good at it. I'm just not. You have to have a focus puller. Yep, exactly. Daryl said, what are your thoughts on the problems with the shutter and the sensor going bad on the A7 III? Well, I've never had any problems. So, look, Daryl, don't believe too much about what you read and in news groups, because remember, when you read news groups, the problem is with those news groups, all you're looking at usually is problems. They're probably 1-2% of the population, the whole photographic population. So you're probably finding that 98% of people that have got the A7 III are having no issues at all. That 2% who will be the most vocal because they've had a problem will be in the ones in the chats and groups and all that talking about it. I certainly have never had a problem with my A7 III. And I've certainly not known people that have. So that's really all I can say. Phonomix said, it might be, if it's more reliable with focus, I chose a Tamron 35 1.8 VC over the Sigma 35 1.4 because of the focusing issues with the Sigma. The Tamron never misses. Particularly with the Tamron I used on the Nikon body the other day, it was super quick with focus. Amazingly quick, actually. It really worked well. What else have we got? Triple said, how long do you think the A6 500 will drop in price now that it's the end of its life? Well, if they bring out an A6, when they bring out the A700 or A7000, whatever that's going to be called, I think it will drop very, very quickly like the A7R III has. I mean, if you're after a camera at the moment, the A7R III is amazing. The price that you can get that camera now is unbelievable. I mean, it really is. I'm even thinking seriously about getting one if it goes down much lower. It really is amazing. So the A6 500 will drop, yes. They may still keep it, like Sony have tended to keep the other cameras still available, but it's going to be interesting to see how that fits in at the moment. If I was in the market now to buy one, I'd still get the A6 400 over the A6 500, even though it doesn't have IBIS, just due to the fact of the focusing is so much better. Oreo said, Zeiss did a 40 to 80 f4 back in the film days for the Contax SLR. Interesting. Zoet says, I have a feeling that the A7S III certainly will be 6K or 8K. No way is Sony going to let their pants down on this one. Maybe Canon interested in the new rumor Kodak as well. The Blackmagic is a steal. It is. At that price, what they're asking for that Blackmagic camera, it is a bargain, actually. If you can do the manual focus, it really is a fantastically priced camera, and they've done a bit of like Sony when they brought out the A7 III. It really is an amazing product for the price, that's for sure. What else have we got? Trev said, my video cameras are in sticks, gimbals and shoulder rigs. Oh, he's talking to Langston, I think. If I need handheld, I go the GH5. Yeah, the GH5 is incredible. The stabilization on that camera when I had it was like on a tripod. It was nuts how good that was. Hero said the Sigma 50 to 100 1.8 is an interesting focal length too. Wish they would make a full frame version. So is that only APS-C, is it, Hero? Peter said, I think it seems like a great step forward getting 4K 120p in future cameras. I love that they put out the innovation of 6K in it. I am too heavily reliable on AF. Yeah, I'm the same, Peter. Particularly because I'm shooting stills and video at the same time. So for me, I do not want to go back to manual focusing. I want something that is reliable like the A9 where I can just click on it and it'll track, and it tracks reliably. I don't even like going back to my A7 III now due to that fact. The tracking is just superb once you've started using it. Even the A6400 has it. The A7R4 will also have it. So it's fantastic once you get that. Langston said there is plenty in LA, especially where you will be. I'm looking in a less travelled area. Can't wait to come out and shoot with all of you guys. I'm really looking forward to it. Trev said nobody needs 4K 120. It's really not necessary. Not to mention it's going to eat through hard drives like no tomorrow. Well, you shouldn't say nobody needs it, Trev, because people do. You just heard Peter say he'd like it. The whole thing is with formats, if you don't need it, you don't have to use it. And that's what you've got to remember about this. It's like not long ago, everyone was saying, who needs 4K? Well, I shoot in 4K all the time because I love to crop in. This is why I want 4K 60, because if we had 4K 60 in tomorrow's shoot, I would have shot 4K 60 and I could have slowed the dancer down. Now, I can't do that now. I've now got to shoot 1080p if I need to do that. Just let me answer this, guys. It's just Kerry. Hello?
Hello. Are you taking my car tomorrow?
Yes, I am. I'm just on a live too, hun.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm taking yours. Yeah, bye. Yeah, so if you don't need it, that's fantastic. You don't have to have it. So I think it's great that they can put that in there. What else have we got? I've got an itchy nose. Hope I'm not going to sneeze. Photomic said, if only they could hack uncropped 4K into the Canon. I know. They just have to start looking after their users, Photomic. Stop these ridiculous cropping that they do and stuff. They've got to wake up sooner or later, surely. What else have we got? Dutch Aussie for Dutch and said, hello, David, keeping warm. Yep, I'm in my lovely studio with the heater on. It's lovely inside here. Anyone that use the wireless go in here? Yeah, I use it all the time here. I love it. I absolutely love it. Totally recommend it. I think I've left it in the other room. Yeah, really, I've got 2 sets of them. It is fantastic. Let me just grab it. I'll show you the size. Stay there. Yeah, I mean, it's just so good because they are so small. You know, like, let me just see if I can hide my face. Absolutely adore them. So this end goes onto your camera, and that one just goes into my pocket. Now, I love tops like this because I can just undo this zip, and then all I do is I face it backwards, and then I just flick it in like that, and it's done. I mean, it's so easy, whereas before I used to have to wire things up and I'd have a mic running up here and doing it. So I cannot recommend it enough. Hero, I really do love it. Devon said, yes, she's my sis. Yeah. Yeah, your mum said she was going to contact me about going through that stuff. G'day, Michael. Good to see you in here. Hero says, I would have bought one if I hadn't gotten the Sennheisers first, but I don't regret it. The Sennheisers are fine too, Photomic. I mean, they're both good systems. I mean, I've still got my Rode VideoMic Pros. I've got 2 sets of those. I bought 2 sets of these because I thought, you know, I might want to mic up a groom and also, say, the minister or the priest. So I've got 2 sets. And usually I don't mic up the bride, but they always get picked up enough by this. So I bought 2 sets of these, but I haven't used the Rode Video mic since. They're the bigger units, and I just haven't used them since I've got these. Fantastic for vlogging and stuff like that because they're so easy to use. There's no setup involved. It's just so good. Langston says, I have one, it works pretty well, but it had a run of manufacturing defects. David Oster got a good one, I got a bad one. Other than that, no complaints. Yeah, that's a shame. But did they fix it, Langston? Surely they would have replaced it for you, wouldn't they? Langston said, search for wireless go internal mic breaking for more info. Wow, that's interesting. I suppose, though, if that did happen, though, you can run an external mic. Did you do that temporarily? Because you can connect to mic through here. So you can just use your normal lav mics if you have that problem. So has that been a big problem, has it? Didn't even know about it. Let me keep scrolling down. Trev said the gang's all here. Yes, they are. Photomix said it's 11:40 here on the West Coast and I'm fixing for a cup of coffee. I saw your shoot this morning, Photomix, where you're on the beach. Looked cool. You were using the gimbal, the AK 2000. Almost 22k, yep. Trev said 241 here. Wow, you're up late. Thank you so much, Devon. Langston said, I'm still unwinding from seeing middle management fumble around with the Sony with the G-Master glass and the BM Cinema camera. Michael says, where's your Robocop voice, David? Yeah, I think that was Aaron's fault, Michael, on his live show the other day. He actually had a setting that was wrong. He worked it out later on, so it's funny. 0007 said, does Tamron seem to have less micro contrast pop than Sony, or is it just me? No, I don't agree with that. I think the Tamrons that I've got, the sharpness and pop is fantastic. Doug said it was minus 35 degrees Fahrenheit. Oh, that's why I said our winters here are so mild in Australia. Diana, g'day Diana. Late night with David Osler. Laughing, glad I caught the stream. Good to see you in here, Diana. Photomix says, I've got to get some photos done for some clients, so I'm trying to push through tonight because me and my fam are going to Canada next weekend. Oh, good. How long are you going for? That'd be nice. Oops. Where were we? I hate it when it does that. It's so annoying. There we were. Ultimate Warrior said, I was sent a capsule for my place. I'm not sure what that means. Don't know what that means. Are you British? No, I'm Australian. Aussie. So I'm an Aussie. Michael said, Doug, you fixed his voice. Hero said, minus 35, that's more like it. My cousins in Minnesota sent me pics of that crazy temperature. I know, I just couldn't fathom. You know what? The funny thing was, when we went up to the snow on the weekend, it was minus 2 Celsius. No, sorry, it was 2 Celsius. So it wasn't even 0. And we were freezing. It was quite funny. We lasted 2 hours and we'd had enough and we had to come home. I just can't fathom those sort of cold temperatures. It's quite funny. Photomix, yes, about the adapter. I wanted to know will it work with Tamron lenses on Sony, or because you were using a Nikon adapter, weren't you, that will give you autofocus on Sony cameras? Wasn't that what you were using? I'm just wondering whether that adapter, will it work with Sigma and Tamron lenses as well? Brett said Adobe had a software update for Lightroom to speed it up. Yes, I've run that and it does seem to run quicker. It just didn't today because when I opened it up, I'm using too many resources to broadcast live. It does seem to make a difference because it's using the GPU for the... It was using it previously, but now it's using more of the GPU. So if you've got a decent card in your computer, it will speed things up. Langston says, wait, you have a rainforest? This is like finding out all of Arizona isn't a scorched rock. Yeah, we have rainforests, Langston. That's a crack up. Did I put one up? Where was it? This one. Oh no, it's not that one. What did I do with it? I showed some waterfalls. It was the waterfall rainforest picture I saw. Let me just go to videography school. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, hang on, I'll find it on here and show you. Mostly images. I'll show you the actual photo so you can see it. Yeah, we've got a lot of rainforest down here. And let me go photos. Oh, didn't I put it in there? Well, let me show you this one. I'll just show you this image because you'll see that this is part of it. Let me go down here. So this is the part of like our rainforest in here. You can see the tree ferns that's over the girl that I've actually put in there. But yeah, we get full on rainforest. It's stunning. It's all beautifully green, ferns everywhere and stuff like that. Like it really is beautiful. So yes, we have stacks of rainforest down here. Look, the tropical ones are up north, but I don't think there's... Oh, there we go. This is another view of it as well. So yeah, this is all the rainforest. So this is not far from my home. This is where I'm going tomorrow. So we're going to go tomorrow to this is the other waterfall. The one that I'm going to is where were we? Is this one. So we're going to this one tomorrow because it has some more flat areas that we can do some dancing and things around like that. But yeah, the waterfalls are just beautiful. You know, they really are amazing. It's stunning, and we have these beautiful forests, but the greenery is just incredible. Beautiful. The problem is it just doesn't stop raining though because it's a rainforest. So let me quit that. Let me come back to here. Tim said, no Darth Vader voice today. No, that was Aaron's fault. He'd had a wrong setting put in, I think, because he said he's found where it was, so that it should be fixed next week. What are your thoughts on when the A9 upgrade will come? Well, the thing is, don't forget that... I've got an itchy nose. Don't forget that they said the summer. Now, I know in Australia, our summer finishes the end of this month, but people keep telling me in the US it's the middle of September. So your dates are a little bit different. I know it goes with the equinox or whatever it is, but in Australia, if they'd said the end of summer, it would have to be released by the end of this month. But I know a lot of people were telling me when I last said that it has to be released before the end of the month, otherwise Sony are late. You were saying it's the 23rd of September or something. Well, as far as I'm concerned here in Australia, when they say the summer, it's by the end of this month. But you guys were saying that summer goes until September. So if they haven't lied yet, or they're not behind the schedule yet, because they didn't say they'd release it, they said it would be released in the US summer. So I suppose that could be, according to the way you guys have told me, up till September the 23rd. I'm hanging out for it as well, though. I'm hoping the longer it takes, they may give us more updates. I mean, that could happen. Tim said, do you think you'll get the Sigma 12 to 24 sometime soon to test? I am going to get some Sigma lenses soon. Not sure which ones, but I am going to get some to test soon, yes. The next lenses I'm going to be getting are actually going to be video lenses, believe it or not. I'm going to be getting some special video ones, so it's going to be totally different for me because I'm going to be doing some video stuff. It's going to have a different look. I'm going to have to learn how to manual focus. I'm going to have to obviously use it on a gimbal because they're all manual focus lenses. But I'm excited about that. So yeah, I can't wait for that to actually happen. That should be really exciting. So yeah, so that's what I'm going to get, some video lenses, some expensive ones. So I'm not sure if I'll get the 12 to 24, but I know I'll get some others that are being released. G'day Gerald, up late and realised you were still on. Doug said, no problems with my A7 III except the paint on the corner is coming off. Yeah, that can happen. Thumbs up if you've not done that yet. Really appreciate thumbs up, guys, because it does help the channel. Langston said, same. Hero said, back when your wrestling was wrestling. I don't know what that means. Jessica Globe said, David, have you heard of the excessive hot pixel problem with the A7R III with exposures over 1 minute? No, I haven't. I haven't heard about that at all. Someone in the chat, I haven't had that camera though, so I had the A7R2. So perhaps if there's anyone in the chat that does have or have seen that problem, they might be able to chime in, because that would be curious to know if that's something anyone else has seen. He's saying it's a hot pixel problem with exposures over 1 minute. Langston says, I'm going to watch the cream of the crop video after this. What does that mean? I'm after a camera body, but why not wait until the R4 comes out? The R3 should drop a bit more. Yeah, I know. It certainly is. That's like I'm saying I'm keeping an eye on it. If it does really drop down to sort of that 2,000 US, I might get one. PhotoMeX said, so true, gear forums are a pitfall, having blah, blah, blah problems with many brand cameras. Is anyone else having the same issue? Yeah, look, the worst thing you can do is go onto chats and look for gear problems, because remember, they are a minuscule part of the whole camera, whole area of cameras. Like I said, it'll be like the end of Earth, but you remember they're probably 1% of the population. 99% are not having issues. So when you hear something like saying, oh my God, there's this massive problem, it probably isn't a massive problem at all. It's probably a very, very small problem that a few people are going on about due to these forums. So you've got to be very careful with tech forums, very careful. And they are, Langston's correct, that the tech forums mostly are full of unhappy people. They are the biggest slammers. They will bag everyone that gets on there. I used to comment on them, and then I got so many horrible comments that I just gave up. It was things like DP Review, their forums and stuff like that. Oh my God, they get so nasty in those places. It's terrible. A9, Michael's saying. Johnny said, David, super curious about your opinion on that Peter McKinnon variable ND, or should I go with the 2? Well, it depends. Look, I'm finding that I originally got the 6 to 9, but I'm going to get the 2 to 5 stop one, because I'm finding in summer I would be using the 6 to 9 one probably nearly all the time, because our sun is so strong and so powerful. But here in winter at the moment, I'm finding that the 6 to 9 is a little bit dark. So it depends really how much sun you get. You might find that if you're not dealing with really strong sun all the time, 2 to 5 is okay. But if you're dealing and shooting in daylight, like midday, you'll need the 6 to 9. So you're probably going to need both of them. And that's the issue. It's a hard thing to say. I don't know what your light is like there, Johnny. But you're probably going to need both, I would think. Because I use the variable ones. I've just started trying this one out too. I bought this ages ago. I can't find my ProMaster. I don't know where it's gone. But this one is I think it's called Mariam. Let me see if I can get my face out. So it's called Marum. This is a variable ND as well. So I may try this one too. It's not really cheap. I think it was $150 Australian or something. So it's not a real cheap one. But if you can't afford to, say, get 2 of the Peter McKinnon ones, I'll try and do a video eventually comparing, say, the Peter McKinnon ones to other NDs. I just haven't had time. But you may be better off to go for a variable one if you can't afford that, because then you get the whole range covered. It's a hard decision to make, because those Peter McKinnon ones are expensive, but I do have to admit that it's nice that you can use it without getting the crossband, which is fantastic. And I do like, it's on my camera over there actually, I do like the way that they sort of have the button so they'll step. They come with a lovely case and a cover that goes on the lens. They are great, but you certainly have to pay for them. Doug said, I tried the Sigma 35 to 150 2.8. Seems legit. Oh, that's good, Doug. I haven't put it on the camera yet. I'm going to try and use it on the weekend, though. It seems like it's a nice lens, though, so I'm interested to try it. Rumour says, where's your banana phone? Photomix said, no, they're talking to each other. That's okay. Where were we? Scott's is here as well. He was just saying. Photomix says, Hot Pixel, how about the hot camera problem? Boy, you'll all never be satisfied. Oh, Photomix, behave yourself. Photomix, don't forget where you are. Laugh out loud. Langston said, the cream of the crop video is a reference to an old promo video for the American wrestling sport featuring Macho Man. It's just a testament to how crazy and over the top it was. Oh, okay. Do you recommend 70 to 200 2.8 for sport or the 200 to 600? It depends on, it depends really on how much light you have. If you haven't got either one of those, if you're going to do stuff that's late in the day and stuff like that, you're going to need the 70 to 200, and you might be better to get that and because remember, the 200 to 600 is a variable aperture, so you're going to have to really up the ISO if you want to deal with that in low light conditions. If it's daylight for sport, I probably would get the 200 to 600 if you're doing it in daylight. If you're going to be using it in daylight and then sort of in the evening or afternoons, and actually in the evening, you'd be better to get the 70 to 200 2.8. Brett said, stop going to the tech groups, nothing but negative. Yeah, they are. And I don't really go into them now at all, really. Sometimes they're nuggets of info, but learn and search and don't get sucked in. Yes, exactly. Doug said we can't see you. Thanks, Doug. Sorry about that. Photomix says, I hang out in tech groups so I can post my YouTube videos for extra clout. Oreo said you are completely hidden by the windows. Yep. Sorry, Oreo. Sorry, guys. Michael said someone give him a call. I always forget to look over there. And I wish it actually switched over. It'd be a lot easier. Fruipel said, hi from Texas. Sorry I'm late, David. No worries, Fruipel. Except you're here near the end. I like the glitches. It feels so live. Photomix said, speaking of lenses, I need to pre-order the new Nikon 85 1.8 S lens. I went out on a shoot today with the Z6 and forgot my adapter and had to use the 35S lens because it's the only native lens I own. Yeah, that'd be a lovely lens, that 85 1.8 Photomix. It certainly would. Just while everyone's here too, guys, don't forget there's no live show tomorrow due to the fact that I'm going on a shoot, doing this dance shoot. I'll probably do it Saturday, the Sony Rumours and News show. So I'll probably do it on Saturday. So I just wanted to let you know that, I won't be live tomorrow. So are there any last questions before we call it a day? We've been on for around about an hour and 15 minutes or something, or an hour and 20. Check out the light review that I just did if you haven't got that. Like I said, tomorrow I'll be on a shoot. Well, I may be able to come up live and just do a broadcast from there or something. I'm not sure if there's even signal. But we might be able to do it from somewhere, and I can show a little bit about what I'm doing. If I can get on live, I'll do a handheld phone one just so you can see what we're doing. Photomix says, at least next time if I forget the adapter, I'll only be missing out on the 50mm range because I'm waiting for the 51.2. 51.2. Woohoo! That sounds good. Now, Doug, Saturday for me will be Friday if you're in the US or if you're in Europe. It'll be Saturday morning for me here in Australia. Remember, we are in the future. Oreo said give a thumbs up. Yeah, really appreciate it if you could give a thumbs up, guys. Would really appreciate that. All right, guys, I suppose I should go. I better go and see if Kerry's inside and start getting tea. And plus, I've got to get everything ready for the shoot tomorrow. Now, Photomix, I just wanted to read this. I was using the TechArt adapter that allows you to use Sony so it's the other way. So you can use Sony FE lenses on the Nikon Z system. Oh, okay. For example, the Tamron 28 to 75 FE works on the Nikon, but only in the center. Oh, okay, so that's interesting. Michael said, David, did you like the 35 1.8 more than the 17 to 28? It's the 35 1.4, Michael. No, I probably still like the 17 to 28 more due to the range that I can get with that lens. I love that so much. But it is nice to be able to shoot 1.4 if you want to separate that background. It is a stunning sharp lens though, but stay tuned for the review. The review will be up soon. I'm going to use that partly tomorrow as well. So stay tuned. But the Tamron 35 1.4 is a great lens. David, do you run any work groups in Melbourne? Yes, I do sometimes, Michael. I'm thinking about doing one reasonably soon. Something on Flash or something like that. So I will be doing one soon. So stay tuned. The best place to know if I'm going to be running workshops, Michael, is to join my Facebook groups, the Photography Videography School, and also my Facebook page, because they're always advertised there. How about the 50 0.95? Is it out yet? Not that I know of. No, I don't think so. Fruitball later, David. Any rumour, Tamron? Yes, look, I can guarantee they'll have a 70 to 200 by this time next year. But that's it. All right, guys. Heading inside. I better go and get dinner ready and get it organised for tomorrow. Any questions, leave it down below. Just remember, I won't be here tomorrow. I'll put a thing on YouTube tomorrow if I get time to say no live today. I'll run the Sony news and rumours on Saturday our time. Apart from that, guys, see you all for the next video. Bye for now. Thanks, everyone.